Parashat Vayishlach Tov Shien Payai B'siyata D'Shmaya. We start off the Parashat with the Pasuk Vayishlach Yaakov Maluchim Lefonov Esav Uchiv Artzu Seyes Deyadoim. Yaakov sends off Maluchim to go to his brother Esav. And Rashi explains that over here Malachim doesn't mean Shlichim, like sometimes in the Torah Malachim means Shlichim, Anoshim, a boss of Adam, but he's a Shlich, he's called a Malach. Over here it means Malachim Mamish. From where did he have Malachim Mamish? We see in last week's Parsha that when Yaakov was on his way back to Eretz Yisrael, it says, V'Yaakov holach ledarkoi, v'yivgivoi malach Elikim. He met Malach Elikim. He encountered Malach Elikim. And Rashi explains, he called the place Machanoim to Machnois. Why? Because he had with him the Machno of Chitzleretz, and he also had the Machno of Maluchim from Eretz Yisrael that came to encounter him on his way arriving to Eretz Yisrael. So from these Maluchim he sent to Esav. Now the Ramban asks last week, and Rashi says, Malachi Eretz Yisrael Yotzu Likrosoi. They came against him to be a Mekabel Ponim, asks the Ramban, Vanito Mea Bezeh, very much wondering, Sharei Adayin Lo Yegia Yaakov L'Oretz. He wasn't yet in Eretz Yisrael, Yaakov. He was still far from Eretz Yisrael. Still in this week's Parsha, he has to go through the Mavar Yaboik. He was pretty far away. Only afterwards he's arriving, he comes to Shechem and he arrives to Eretz Yisrael. And when he sends the Shlichim to Esav, is when he is still a Chitzdoretz on his way to Eretz Yisrael. So how come the Shlichim, the Maluchim from Eretz Yisrael came already out to Chitzdoretz? They should be arriving as he is entering Eretz Yisrael. The Malach Eretz Yisrael should come across him, not so much before. That's what the Ramban asks. The Ramban answers an answer. Now the Basayin, the holy Basayin, this week is his Yortzeit. Friday is his Yortzeit. Rabbeini Avrum Doiv ben Reb David. He lived first in Avrich, Rosh, then he moved to Eretz Yisrael and he settled in Tzvas, and there's still today a shul over there, his shul, his kaiver over there. He speaks very much in a sefer about Achnua and Anova. He's full. That a person should know that he is nothing. Whatever he has, he gets from Hashem. He shouldn't be a balgaive. And even Tzaddikim said that when you go into his kaver, you have to bend yourself very much because it's in a ma'ara, in a grave, and the opening is very low. It shows that to come into the Basayin, you have to bend. You have to bend yourself. Maybe we're going to say in a minute the story of the Chernobyl, Rabban Chernobyl. Yesterday was his Yortzeit. But let me first say what the Basayin says. The Basayin brings down this Ramban in the beginning of this Parsha, and he answers an answer. And when you see the shtickl in Basayin, it seems that the answer is from the Ramban. But actually it's not what the Ramban says. He answers like this. What does the Basayin answer? The Basayin answers that we know the known klal, that b'mokem shemachshavto shel adam sham hu nimtza. Wherever a person's machshava is, that's where the person is. The Toldos Yaakov Yosef brings it down a lot of times in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, that where a person's machshava is, where his mind is focused, that's where the person is. Consider that he's over there. So because Yaakov was already on his way back to Eretz Yisrael, he left Choron, he left Lavan, he was on his way settling to Eretz Yisrael, focusing over there. That was his goal. So it's already considered like he is in Eretz Yisrael. So, but this answer it doesn't say in Rabban. It does. So you could say that it's an own teretz from the Basayin, and I saw already a few Basayins that they make a comma after the word v'tiritz. It says in Basayin v'tiritz, and it goes on with this teretz. So you could think that the pshat is that this answer is what the Ramban answers. But some make a comma v'tiritz, and the Ramban has an answer. Now the Basayin goes on and he gives this another answer, that because he was on his way, he was herzik baderech, he was already on his way, so he's considered like he is already in Eretz Yisrael. So it's muvam that the Malachim from Eretz Yisrael, it's understood that they could come and be in Mekabel Punim because he's already like considered being in Eretz Yisrael.
if he would have commanded the Malachim from Chutz La'aretz, they wouldn't be able to go do the Shliach because they wouldn't be able to have Eretz Yisrael.
You're right. Because he had Malachim from Eretz Yisrael, he was able to send them. But the kasha was, how did he have Malachim from Eretz Yisrael if he was not yet in Eretz Yisrael? And for that, the answer is, because his mind was focused on Eretz Yisrael, it's already considered like he is in Eretz Yisrael. That's what the Masayin says. Now, we can also say that the Masayin meant to say that the Ramban answers this, even though the Ramban doesn't say this answer. But this whole Yesoid that I mentioned before, is also a Ramban. It's a Ramban in the Chidushim Alashas, because the Toldos Yaakov Yosef brings down a lot of times in the name of his Rebbe, the Baal Shem Tov, in the name of the Ramban. Wherever a man's mind is, Shamu Nimtza, that's where he is. Even though physically he is not there, but it's considered like he is there because his mind takes him to that place. Where is the Ramban? The Baal Shem Tov didn't quote where the Ramban is. But some people say it's a Ramban in Masechta Eiruvin. There's a halacha legabe Shabbos when a person is on his way and he's still far from his city. He wants to arrive there, but he can't go more than a Tchum Shabbos. So if he's, let's say, Tchum Shabbos is 2,000 Amma. If he's, let's say, 4,000 Amma away from his city and he wants to arrive there on Shabbos, so he has a gewaltige Eitze. If he knows of a tree or something, a house, about 2,000 Amma from where he is now, and it's also in the 2,000 Amma of the city, so he could say by Nashmoshes, Shevisosi tachas ilam peloini. I want to be Mekabel Shabbos under that tree, and that's Ke'ilu my house. Even though I'm now here, but I'm focusing to be Shabbos under that Ilam. And because it's in the 2,000 Amma, he could walk till there on Shabbos, because it's like Eli, he is over here. And it's like Koine Shvise under that tree. Now, whenever you go out from your Mokum till 2,000 Amma, you could go it back. So now he's going on Shabbos the 2,000, up to 2,000 Amma till the Ilan. And then from the Ilan, he also has 2,000 Amma the other direction, because you have in every direction 2,000 Amma from where you are Koine Shvise, you have 2,000 Amma to all four directions. So he could go on Shabbos from where he is till the Ilan, from the Ilan to the city, and he could arrive to his house on Shabbos. So we see over there that you saw it. How could you say Shilisasi Tachas Ilan Ploini? Bein Hashmoshis, you're still so far away, and you say it should be considered like I'm being Bekabel Shabbos under that tree, but because you had that in mind, and that makes him Keilu, that he's in that place, and maybe that's Shkoyach.
Fresh cut.
Gewaltig. I should make a new Shahakoil. Buri Chatu Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Shahakoil Niyu B'Dvoroi. A person once came to the doctor and he said, whenever I drink a coffee, my red eye hurts me. I don't know why. The doctor told him, next time take out a spoon when you drink. My right eye, I said my red eye, my right eye hurts me. One eye hurts me. He told me he should take out the spoon of the coffee. So if we say even this teretz of the Basayin could also be considered to the Ramban, even though it's not the Ramban in last week's Parashat, but it's the Ramban in Eiruvin. Now they quote a nice story, very connected to this Yesoid of the Basayin. When the Basayin was on his way to Eretz Yisrael, before he left Chitz, he went around to a few tzaddikim to preda. How do you say to separate or say goodbye, farewell?
Yeah, farewell.
Farewell. Before he is going to Eretz Yisrael. One of the tzaddikim that he went to was Reb Ahron of Zhitomer. He was a Talmud Muvik of the Kedushas Levi from Bedichiv. Reb Ahron Zhitomer, he went to him. When you arrived to Reb Ahron Zhitomer was very ill. He was lying in bed. And Reb Ahron Zhitomer tells him, I know that you're on your way to Eretz Yisrael. And for me, for a refuah, would be very good if I would have water from Eretz Yisrael and drink that water. That would be for me a refuah, a recovery. Because it says in Posik, it refers to water of Eretz Yisrael. how do I get water from Eretz Yisrael? But because you're on your way to Eretz Yisrael, it's considered like you are already in Eretz Yisrael. So he asked him, take a cup of water, put it in your mouth, then spit it out again, and give it to me to drink. It's going to be considered water of Eretz Yisrael. So the Messiah did this. He took a cup of water, he put it in his mouth, and then he spat it out, and then he gave it to drink for the Rabar Jitomir, and he had the Refuah Shalayma. What do you see from this? Even though he was still in Jitomir, but because he was focusing in his mind to be in Eretz Yisrael, it was Hechzik Baderech. He was on his way, it's considered like he is already in Eretz Yisrael, and that's why the water in his mouth is considered more water from Eretz Yisrael. So this is mamish connected to what the Messiah alone says. Yaakov had Maluchim from Eretz Yisrael because he was on his way to Eretz Yisrael. Yaakov sends the Maluchim, they should tell Esav, Im Lovan Garti vu Eichar Adoto. I was till now residing by Lovan, and now I'm heading back to Eretz Yisrael. I want to come and visit the father, visit you. Rashi brings another pshat, what he meant with saying Garti. Garti is Begematria 613. So he meant to say, I was by Lovan, and I was Mekayim all the Taryag mitzvahs, all 630 mitzvahs. Just to mention the nice Nekuda, Rashi says, Garti is oile begematrie, Garti begematrie Taryag. Garti, how do you say begematrie? It's begematrie, you know, the
numerical value.
The numerical value of Garti is 613 Taryag. So once a person asked me, why does Rashi has to go to the numerical value? Rashi would have been able to say Garti is the same letters like Taryag. It's not only numerical value. If it would have been other letters, you have to say, you make the numerical value, the Gematria comes out Taryag. But if it's mamish the same letters, Garti is Taryag. And the answer is very pashit. We are used to that Taryag is a word. Taryag is not a word, it's a number. Taryag mitzvahs means 630 mitzvahs. It's not a word, so you say, Garti is the letters of Taryag. There's no word Taryag. Taryag refers to the numeral of 630. So Rashi has to explain that Garti is Begematria 630. But, so Rashi goes that he says to Lovan, I was Mekayim all the Taryag mitzvahs. And I didn't learn myself anything from his bad deeds. And then he goes on, Baruch Hashem have shoyer and chamoyer, tzoyin ve'evet. There was once a rabbi that came to the Briskerov, and he told him that he has a geshmak pshat, even though it's not poshet pshat, but he has a geshmak pshat in the shaykhis from Imlovan Garti to Vayili shoyer v'chamoyer. And the Briskerov, the Gris, liked it very much. He said, even though it's not pshat, but the idea is very right idea, very correct. He said like this, how was Yitzchok able to live in Ahron with all of the Reshuim and residing at Lovan's house for 20 years, and he should stay Yaakov Avinu, such a righteous person? He said, very gishmak. You want to know how I did it in Lovan Garti, and I was Mekayim all Taryag mitzvahs, v'loy lamadati memasa v'roim, v'yehili shoy v'chamoir. He was considered in my eyes like a shoyer and a chamoir. I looked at Lovan so cheap, so nothing. He was like a shoyer, so he does what he does. Who cares? He's not a person that I could learn from him, chas v'shulam, and he could have a bad influence on me. He's a shoyer chamoir. A shoyer chamoir does bad things. What can I help him? I'm a person. That means the love on all of the people in Ahron were in my eyes like a shoy v'chamoy. So there was no havamina. I should learn myself something and have a bad influence from them. And that's a gewaldige yesod that a person has to know. Whenever he sees people doing not good things, ma'aseh b'heimeh, he shouldn't look at it, he's a person like me, and he's doing ma'aseh b'heimeh, should have a bad influence on me. He is a b'heimeh doing a ma'aseh b'heimeh. He could maybe look like a person, he goes on too, but he's l'ma'aseh b'heimeh. So in that way, it won't have on him an effect when he sees something not good. It's like v'hili shoy v'chamoir. I want to go to a few psikim später later, but I want to come back to the beginning over here. The Maluchim come back and they say to Yaakov, we met your brother Isaac, and he is coming with 400 people together with him. And this number, 400 people, is said in the Kabbalah's forum that there's 400 koiches satimah. And when Esau came to fight with Yaakov, he knew that Yaakov is very big in the Tzad HaKdisha. His koiches HaKdisha are gewaldig, and he knew he wanted to fight with him. So he strived with all of the koiches to be able to be menatzayach, to win Yaakov. So he brought with him 400 people, means all gewaldige koiches atime. Now when Yaakov fights the Sorah shel Esav, before he even meets Esav, he fights the Sorah shel Esav. And then it goes, and the pasuk says, he gave him the name Yisrael, and he tells him, Ki sarisa im Elokim v'manoshim v'tuchal. Why do I give you the name Yisrael, the Malach tells him? Because you fought with Elokim. Elohim means Malachim. V'manoshim means Esav and Lovan. V'tuchal, and you were them menatzeach. I just want to explain a word. What's the pshat you were in menatzeach? He actually didn't yet meet Esav. He only met the Sorah shel Esav. Only later on he meets Esav. So we see from here, the pshat is that when Yaakov won the Sorah shel Esav, it's considered like he won already the Melchuma, he won already Esav. There's no Esav and Arba Meis Ishimoy. Once he was Menatzeach the Sorah shel Esav, he is the winner. It's considered Vatichol. And maybe that's why it seems in the beginning of the Parashat that Yaakov wants to make Yachatz. He wants to split up the oilam that he has, the people that he has with him, into two machnois. And he says, then when Esav comes, it doesn't seem that he split them up, even though it does say in Pasuk Vayachatz, but it seems that it says the Bnei Hashvachis came first, and then Leah with her children, and then Rachel with Yosef. It's not mashma that he made two machnois, and the reason could be very poshut. Once he knew already that he won the Sorah shel Esav, he conquered the koiches atime, so he's not afraid anymore of Esav. He doesn't have to split them up into two machnois. But so it says over there that he gave him the name Yisrael Kisarisim Alekim V'manoshim V'tuchal. Now the Imre Emes of not of Ger. The Imre Emes, there was Reb Leibel Eiger, a Rebbe from Lublin. He also wrote a cipher Imre Emes. He was an Einikel, a descendant of Reb Akiva Eiger, Reb Leibel Eiger. He brings down in his cipher a gewaltige kashe. Why does he get the name Yisrael? Ki sarisa im alekim v'manoshim. Sarisa means you fought. You had a fight and you won. Vatuchal. Why shouldn't he get a name that should resemble the winning, the nitzachon? Why only the fighting with Esav? Why shouldn't it be a simon, a semel to the nitzachon that he had? Vatuchal. And why do we call Klal Yisrael Yisrael? Maybe Yaakov should be called with the name Tuchal. And Klal Yisrael should be called Klal Tuchal. You are all the people that you won the fight with the Yetzirah, with Esav. Why do we call us Yisrael? And Rav Leibel Eiger explains gewaldig. He says, to be Menatzeach Esav, to be Menatzeach the Yetzirah, you need Siyata Deshmaya. Chazal say, Yitzre Shalodom, Mizgaber Olav B'chol Yoim, the Yetzirah tries to be Menatzeach the person. If Hashem won't help him, there's no way, no chance he should win the Yetzirah. He only needs Siyata Deshmaya, and with Siyata Deshmaya he could win the Yetzirah. So that's why the Bible Eiger says, Vatuchal, Yaakov was matzliach to win, that was Siyata Deshmaya. You don't give him the name on the Siyata Deshmaya. What was his chelik, his part that he put in, the effort, the starting to fight? So that's why his name is Yisrael Kisarisa. You started off, you didn't sit with your hands folded. You went out. How does it say in Pasuk? You have to go out l'melchama. In a son Hashem lekecha b'yadecha. Hashem is going to help, and you're going to be the winner. You're going to win them, but you have to go out. You have to start the fight. Then, in order to win, that's already Siyata Deshmaya. So Vatuchal was Siyata Deshmaya, because if Hashem won't help him, there's no way it should be Vatuchal. It should be Yochaloi. The only way how he could win him is only with Siyata Deshmaya. But what does the person have to do? He has to make Kisarisa, start the fight. So that's why he gave him the name Yisrael. So I thought like this. If you make the numerical, the gematria, the numerical value of the word Vatuchal, it's 462. If you add 1 to it, the coil, it's 463. So Vatuchal is 463. If you take the three words Ezri Ma'im Hashem, Ezri Me'im Hashem is 463. So this is what he is saying. Vatuchal is Ezri Me'im Hashem. That's Siyata D'Shmaya. Because if there wouldn't be the Ezri Me'im Hashem, there's no way it should be Vatuchal. Vatuchal could only be Ezri Me'im Hashem. What the person has to do is the Kisarisa. He starts, he goes out to the Melchoma. And then I thought maybe we could add to this another Nechkide. How did it start the Posik? Yaakov says, Esu'eina yalahorim me'ayin yuvay Ezri. We know that this capital, this Perek Yaakov said when he went to Ahron to look for a Shidduch, this was the capital that Yaakov used a lot, ma'ayin yuvay Ezri. If we take these three words, ma'ayin yuvay Ezri, the numerical, the gematria, the numerical value of these three words is 401. 401 is ma'ayin yuvay Ezri. So maybe this is the pshat. Yaakov gets the notice from the Maluchim that Esav is coming, and with him he has 400 people. So together with Esav it's 401. And those are the 400 Koiches Atime, and Esav is on top of them. So Yaakov says, Ma'ayin Yuvay Ezri, I can't fight such a gewaltige Koich Atime. Esav with his 400 people, 401. Ma'ayin Yuvay Ezri is Bigamatri, 401. What does he do? He knows I have to start the war. If I won't sit with hands folded, I'm going to go out with the Melchome. Hashem is going to help you, and that was what it ended. Vatuchal, Ezri Me'im Hashem, the Siyata D'Shmaya. We could say even more. Oise Shemayim v'Oretz is Bigamatri Esav. Ezri Me'im Hashem, Oise Shemayim, not the Gematri Rosh Tevis. Ezri Me'im Hashem, no, Oise Shemayim v'Oretz is Rosh Tevis Esav. Ezri Me'im Hashem, Oise Shemayim v'Oretz. Siyata D'Shmaya was able to be Manatzeach Esav and the 400 people with him. So when Yaakov fights with the Sorish al Esav, how did it start? The Pasuk says, "Vayevose Yaakov levadoi." Yaakov was left alone. Now Rashi explains why was he alone? Because he had already taken over his wife, his Noshim and his Yelodim. He went back to take Pachim Ktanim, and that was when the Malach Sorish al Esav found him and he started to fight with him. Vayaovek Ishimoy. They were like boxing one with the other. They were fighting. The Loshen Nachazal is on Vayaovek. Helu Ovok Adlikisa Akuvet. While they were fighting, they were like bringing up avak. Avak is dust. Dust was going up till the kisakuvit from such a hard fight. The Chassidische Svurim explain that in Pachim Ktanim it doesn't refer only to small kalim. It refers to small deeds. That the Yetzer Hara wants to come to a person and tell him, nah, this is not so important if you should do it. It's a very small mitzvah. You don't have to, it's not so choshev. If you will do it, you won't gain too much. So you might as well not do it. Why do you have to work so hard for such a small zach? Yaakov was fighting with the Sorish al Esav and the Pachim Ketanim. Helu Ovok ad lekisa kovet. Yaakov knew that even what it seems to be dust, but you could higher it, you could elevate it, it should arrive till the Kisakovat. Every small thing that you do, every small deed, every Isgabris on the Yetzer Hara, if it's a Sur Mara, or if it's Nasei Toiv, is Gevaldik Choshev by Hashem. And that was his Iker fight with the Sorish al Esav. He started off, because the derech of the Yetzer Hara is, the Gemara says, Kachi Darke Shal Yetzer Hara. He never starts off with a person to convince him to do a big Aveire. He starts off with a small thing. Go another step. Then Aseikach. Till Chaz v'Sholem he comes off and he tells him, Leich avoid avoid zara. Go and din avoid zara. But it doesn't start with a big avoid. It starts with the small things. Now you have to remember to stop it at the beginning. Yaakov understood that he fought on the Pachim Ktanim on the small things. That was what he fought. Heli Avok at Kisakovoid. He took every small mitzvah that's like dust, that the Yetzer Hara makes it like dust, and he brought it off till the Kisakovoid. Why? Because we see in Pasuk you have to take Chochmah from the Oyev. There's a story said that once there was a big Oisher, Baron Rothschild, known as a big Oisher. Once there was another Baron, a wealthy Yid. His name was, I think, Baron Ginsburg. And he wasn't so into Yiddishkeit as Baron Rothschild, so he didn't come every day to shul or even every Shabbos, but on Yom Kippur, Baron Ginsburg also came to shul. Now, before Ne'ilah, they were selling Psichas Uren, with the one who opens up the Aron Kodesh for Ne'ilah. And people, it's a Choshev Ezach. So Baron Rothschild offered, he went up with the price till he offered 1,000 ruble. Now Baron Ginsburg saw this, so he offered 1,200 ruble, and he ended up gathering it. He was Oiche in the Psichas Uren for Ne'ilah. So they told him, go up. So he asked someone, what do you do? What's Psichas Uren from Ne'ilah? I don't know what I bought. Explain to me. So he told him, you go and you open up the Aron Kodesh. Sure, say it. He went up. Then the person asked, I don't know, I don't get it. If you didn't know what you're buying, why did you offer 1,200 rubles for something that you don't even know? He answered very good, Baron Ginsburg. He said, look, I didn't know what I'm buying, but I know Baron Rothschild in business. He's very shrewd in business. He only does good deals. And if he was ready to pay for something 1,000 rubles, it was worth for me to pay for it 1,200 rubles. If Baron Rothschild wanted to pay for that 1,000 rubles, it's a good deal. We have to tell the Yetzer Hara. He comes to a person and he says, this is nothing. You don't have to do it. All it's a very small aveira. It's mamish avak. Avak loshen hara. Avak gezel. Avak. It's only avak ados. So you have to answer him. If that's the case, so why do you mind if I do it? Why do you mind if I do this, if I'm going to do this shvacha mitzvah? It's mamish so nothing, it won't have any ashpua, it won't do to me any good, so it won't do also. Why does it so much bother you if I'm going to do it? And if you're interested in investing energy by convincing me not to do it, it's might as well enough good for me, I should do it, even though it's so shvach. Because he's a good businessman, the Yetzer Hara. He knows of good deals. And if he is willing to put in effort and energy to convince me not to do it, that should be alone a reason we should do it. Yesterday was the Yotzat of Rabban Chenobler. I said before, maybe we're going to speak about him. There's a story said that Rabban Chenobler, in his shul, there was a shamash. That this shamash was in charge to assist everybody in the shul. So people used to come over to him that he doesn't have a siddur. He used to arrange, he was Mesader, everybody should have a siddur, a chimish. This person was missing a talis. Then a person was missing water to wash his hands. He had to see that it should be water from the well brought in, so everybody should be able to wash his hands. So he wasn't able to daven normally, the seed, because he was the Gabba, the Shamash of the shul. But he used to chaparai, a few minutes davening over there, a few minutes davening over there. That was how he used to daven every day. One day he decided it's enough. That's not considered davening. For such a davening, I might as well not daven. I'm not going to daven today. After davening, Rabban Chenobler came out from the shul, and he sees the seed, he approaches him, and he asks him, Rabbi, why didn't you daven today? So the seed says, Rabbi, and when I do daven, that's considered davening. You know how my davening looks? I come to daven a few minutes, and then a few minutes, it's so shtikelig, how do you call it, in pieces, it's not a normal davening. So Rabban Chenobler answers him, but you see that I saw you that today you didn't daven? So that shows that even a shvacha davening does do something good to a person. Why? Because after all, I did see on your face that today you were missing this davening. So that shows us how choshev every davening is. And if the Yetzer Hara comes and says, no, this is nothing, it's anyway not good, it's so shvach, you might as well leave it behind. No. Because if you want me to leave it behind, seems that it is something, and that's why I also want to cherish it, and I want to keep it to myself. I do want to do it. Some of the tzaddikim I saw once in the name of the Shotzer Roof from London, the Shotzer Roof, he says in Yiddish, Yaakov was chazar al pachim ktanim. In Yiddish they call pachim ktanim small kriegelich. A pach is called the kriegele. Pachim ktanim kleine kriegelich. He says krieg could also mean a fight. A fight is called, a war is considered a krieg. In Yiddish it's also called krieg. So he said small kriegelich and the small fights. Because usually a big fight starts off with a small fight. And Yaakov was watching out very much. There shouldn't be any small fights. Pachim ktanim. Even the small kriegelich, the small fights, He was very, very looking out to stop it on time. How do you say, a stitch in time saves 9? He should be at mechaber, to stitch it back together before it gets. The Gemara says in Masechta Sanhedrin, on the pasuk, Poiter Mayim Reishis Modoin. The Gemara says in it, Hi Tigre, this fight, Tigre is considered a fight. Damye is equalized, it's doime, letzinoire de bitke de maye, to a pipe of water that gets a hole, it gets a sedek, it gets a spalt. How do you say it in English, a spalt? It gets a crack. It gets a crack. Kiven the rovach. If you don't fix it up and you don't close it, and water comes out, with the time, the crack becomes a bigger hole and a bigger hole and a bigger hole. That's how a kriegerei, that's how do you call a kriegerei in English? Not a war. A war is a big fight. A fight. That's how a fight starts. A fight starts by a small crack, and you have to, an argument, you have to settle it on time. So, poiter mayim reishis modon. Modon means an argument, a fight. Poiter mayim, like the Pesach of water, that's also reishis modon, the beginning of a fight. So, Yaakov was chozer al pachim ktanim on the small kriegelich. He right away, he wanted very much that he should stop it. It shouldn't become chas v'shulem, a big melchome. Yaakov goes out with his tefillah and he asks Hashem and he says, Va'ata omarta heitiv eitiv imach. You promised me that I'm going to have goods. Heitiv eitiv imach, I'm going to have a lot of goods. What's the kvelis haloshen? Heitiv eitiv, I'm going to have good goods. So Rashi says that the kvelis haloshen is heitiv b'schuscha, heitiv b'schus avasecha. I'm going to do you goods in your schus and in the schus of your parents. That's how Rashi says. The holy Kedushas Levi of Berditchev, he has a lot of pshatim on this Eitiv Eitiv. One pshat he says, the Berditcheverov, that Yaakov meant to say, I believe that whatever you do with me is good. Kol mad oved rachman aletav oved. Whatever Hashem does is for the good. Sometimes we don't see the good, but we have to believe that everything is good. But we don't see the goods with our eyes. But we do ask, V'sigma leinu chasadim toivim. Hashem should do with us good chasadim. What's good chasadim? If it's chesed, it's for sure good. Because sometimes you don't see the chesed. It's hidden chesed. We want to see the chasadim. Tzadikim explained the pasuk. Hareinu Hashem chasdecha. Hashem should show us His chasadim. Not only we should have to believe in the chesed, we should see the chesed. Chasadim toivim. I once saw that Rabbi Yosef Shol Natanzon, the Shoel HaMeshiv, explains what we say Shabbos beim davening. Sabeinu mitivecha. How do you say sabeinu in English? We should be satisfied. We should be satisfied from your goods. What's the pshat? We should be soveya, satisfied with the goods. He says, because the Gemara says in Masechta Yumeh, that when a blind person eats, he never gets soveya. He never gets satisfied. Why? Because he doesn't see what he eats. When you don't see what you eat, you don't get so much satisfied. Part of the severe of the satisfaction of a person while he eats is when he sees in the beginning a full plate, and then he sees the plate is empty, so his mind, how do you say it? Tat moda. Yeah, that his mind, what? Subconsciously he understands that he ate this whole plate, and that also makes part of the satisfaction. That's why sometimes by meals, by chasanas, they want people should eat a lot, they put dim lighting. Yeah. Why? Because by dim lighting you could eat more. You don't see how much you eat, so while it's dark you could eat more. So the Gemara says, Esume, a blind person is oichle ve'eino seveya. He eats and he doesn't get so much seveya. He doesn't get so much satisfied by eating. So says Rabbi Yosef Shol Natanzon, if Hashem gives us goods, but we don't see the goods with our eyes, you can't get satisfied from that goods, because it's like a summa, you don't see it. Sabeinu mitivecha, give us such goods, we should be able to the severe, to be satisfied from the goods. We're going to see the goods with our own eyes. That's how he explains. So now, so this is how the Kedushas Levi explains the pshat va'ata omarta heitiv eitiv imach. That Yaakov said to Hashem, you told me that you're going to give me good goods. Heitiv eitiv means the goods is going to be in a good way. It's going to be served, it's going to be delivered in a good way. Not only it's going to be good, we're going to see the goods. So that's why, even though I believe everything is good, but I want to see the goods with my own eyes. Heitiv eitiv imach. That's the Kfeilas Halosh. That's how the Badit Shevruv explains. I think maybe we could combine between Rashi and the Badit Shevruv and make it together. Why? Because the Gemara brings down in Masechta Brochos that Moshe Rabbeinu asked Hashem Yisborach, Hoi di einen hu as derechecha. I want to understand your ways. I want to understand your anuge. And the Gemara explains one of the things that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't understand, why we sometimes could see a tzaddik v'toivloi, a tzaddik that he has goods, and sometimes we see a tzaddik v'raloi. A tzaddik that he has bad, it's not good. And the Gemara has a few ways how to explain it. One way the Gemara explains, a tzaddik v'toivloi is a tzaddik ben tzaddik, and a tzaddik v'raloi is a tzaddik ben rosh. Now, if that's the case, we can understand very good. What's the pshat tzaddik v'toivloi and tzaddik v'raloi? A tzaddik knows that whatever Hashem does is the best, is for the good. So, raloi means even though he believes it's good, but you don't see the goods. It looks like it's ra, even though the tzaddik believes it's good, but it looks like ra. And tzaddik v'toivloi means not only it's good, no, but you can see the goods with the eyes. So in that case, a tzaddik ben tzaddik, he should get tzaddik v'toivloi. The good should be seen goods. So that's the pshat. Va'ato amarto heitev heitev zokt Rashi. Heitev v'schischa, heitev v'schus avasecha. So I'm a tzaddik ben tzaddik. My own schus and the schus of my parents. If I'm a tzaddik ben tzaddik, I have to be a tzaddik v'toivloi. What's a tzaddik v'toivloi? Heitev heitev. That the goods that I'm going to get is going to be in a good manner, in a good way. Well, I'm going to see the goods with my eyes. So that's why he was asking for the gewaldige Yeshua heitev heitev imach. There's a gewaldige eponym Yofos. In this week's Parsha, when Hashem Yisburach tells Yaakov, when he's on his way, Mamish, arriving to his father, it says, Vayeru Elokim el Yaakov. And Hashem tells him like this, Shimcho Yaakov, your name is Yaakov, Lo yikore Shimcho oid Yaakov, Ki im Yisrael Yeshemecho, your name is going to be Yisrael, Vayikru es Shemo Yisrael, gave him the name Yisrael. Now the Gemara brings the Masechta Bruchos in the end of the first Perek, brings the Gemara that Bar Kapora says, whoever calls Avram Avinu Avram is over an Esse, because it says in Pasuk that you shouldn't be called anymore Avram, your name should be Avram. So the Gemara says, so if that's the case, maybe by Yaakov also, if you call him Yaakov after he's named Yisrael, maybe you're over an Esse. The Gemara says no. The Gemara says a few reasons. First of all, because the Torah alone is mamshech afterwards, and it calls him a lot of times Yaakov. Another zach, in this same pasuk, when Hashem gives him the name Yisrael, it tells him Shimcho Yaakov, your name still stays Yaakov. Lo yikore Shimcho oid Yaakov, Kim Yisrael Yeshmechu. But your name is not going to be only Yaakov. You're going to also have the name Yisrael, but you still have Yisrael Yaakov. You still have both names. Your name is Yaakov, and you also have the name Yisrael. The Punim Yufa says like this. He brings down Yaakov is begematria 182. Satan, the Gemara says in Masechta Nedarim, Ha-Satan is begematria 364. Ha-Satan is 364. The Gemara explains a year has 365 days. A sun year, Shana Sacham, has 365 days, because the Satan had reshus to say bad on Klal Yisrael every day except one day. Yom Kippur, he doesn't have reshus to be mastin on Klal Yisrael. So that's why his name Ha-Satan is 364, because only 364 days of the year he has reshus to be mastin. One day Yom Kippur he is not allowed to. So if you want to fight the Satan, says the Ponim officer, brings it down from Mekoides before, Yaakov is 182. If you take 2 times Yaakov, 182 and 182 is 364. 180 and 180 is 360. 2 and 2 is 4. 364. 2 times Yaakov is the same numerical value, gematria, like Ha-Satan. Because Yaakov was able to fight with the Satan when he has his name twice. Yaakov. That's when he could fight the Satan. Now that he got the name Yisrael, so says the Param Yofis gewaltige Sach. Yisrael is begematria 541. That's the same gematria like Yaakov and Satan. Not HaSatan. Yaakov with Satan together is begematria Yisrael. And what's the pshat? But it's Hashem darke ish gam oivav yashlim itoi. When Hashem helps and a person is zoiche, even his enemy is yashlim itoi. He is mashla with him. He becomes shalom with him in peace. Yaakov Avinu was zoiche to menatzeach Sarah shel Esav and to take him under his possession. He brought him in to his chaylik. Till then Yaakov was fighting. Yaakov is against HaSatan. Vaya'ovek Ishimoy, they were fighting. After it was Vatuchol, he got the name Yisrael, so it was Yaakov Satan. He still has in his name Yaakov. And why does he get the name Yisrael? Because he added to his name Yaakov, he also added the koyach of Satan that he was in Menatzayach. He won and he overpowered him, and he's now under his Shlita. That's how the Param Yofes explains. And with that he explains so geschmack the Pasik. Hashem tells to Yaakov like this, Shimcha Yaakov. Even though I give you the name Yisrael, your name is still Yaakov. Because in Yisrael, there's the gematria of Yaakov. But, Lo Yikore Shimcha Oid Yaakov. No more we're going to have to say your name twice. Oid Yaakov means another time Yaakov. Till now, whenever you wanted to fight with the Yitzchok, you had to use your name Yaakov twice. From now on, Lo Yikore Shimcha Oid Yaakov, you won't have to use your name Yaakov twice in order to fight with the HaSatan. Ki im Yisrael Yeshemechu, your name is Yisrael, and you already overpowered the Satan, and he's under your power. So in your name Yisrael, you have Yaakov with the Satan, so you don't anymore need to say your name twice, Yaakov, in order to fight the Satan. And that's the pshat. The Sforim HaKadoshim explain what we said before. Yaakov fought with the Sarah Shel Esav and Pachim Ktanim. Pachim Ktanim is begematria Satan. Pachim Ktanim is the same gematria like Satan. Yaakov, Pachim Ktanim is Israel. Why? Because how does it start the Yisrael, the big Madregis? From the small things. Yaakov is a losha from ikviyut, means steady. Steady, a small zach. Epachim ktanim. The Satan came and he wanted to fight with Yaakov on the Pachim Ktanim, like we said before. Yaakov chazar al Pachim Ktanim. What does it mean chazar? He took in the Pachim Ktanim into him. He overpowered him, Vatuchol. And when he took in the Pachim Ktanim to him, Yaakov got the name Yisrael because he has all the Pachim Ktanim with him. So he overpowers the Satan and his name became Yisrael. And what we spoke before also, that his name stayed Yisrael, we spoke from Rabbi Leibel Eiger. Why did he get the name Yisrael? Because that shows on the going out to fight. Kisoriso. You didn't wait. You did what you have to do. You went out to Melchoma. That's the name Yisrael. That's also pshat in the name Yaakov. We see in Parashat Toildas, Yaakov gets the name Yaakov. Why? Because when they came out, the Yodo Yechezes Bakev Esav. And Rashi explains he wanted it to be the first, so he tried to pull back Esav. Now it's very interesting. Esav got the name Esav, we could understand. Rashi explains, Nase v'nigmar, he was born, Kiloi kader seyor, he was like a child, a few years old, so they called him Esav. He is Asui, he is done, he's already finished, he's a mensch. Yaakov, they call him his name. Why? Because when he was born, his hands were schlepping, we're holding onto the foot of Esav. That's why he gets the name. A Klal Yisrael, we called Bnei Yaakov, Beis Yaakov, on the name of Yaakov. He tried, but he didn't. He wasn't Matzliach. Esav came out before him. But the pshat is, that's the pshat of Klal Yisrael. We try. We do whatever we could. Yaakov saw that Esav is going out before him. But the least that I could do is pull him by his leg. I won't let him get out easily. I'm going to try the most that I could, that I should have epis, Yodo Yechezes Bakei Vayisov, he wasn't messiahish. He didn't give up till the last second. He tried to pull him back. That's the name of Klal Yisrael. That's the name of Yaakov. That's always Kisorisa. That's why even though when his name is Yisrael, his name stays Yaakov, because both of them are the same idea. How did he get to Sorisa Malekim V'Manoshim V'Tuchal? He was oichet to Siyata Deshmaya, Ezri Me'em Hashem, to win, overpower Esav, because it started off with the Yodo Yechezes Bakei Esav, the Pachim Ktanim, the small things, the Ekev. And that was what he was holding on to. He fought and he fought till he was oichet to the Siyata Deshmaya, and he won him. Shabbos. Shabbos.